Okay, let's finally do this again. Death Master Hardcore. This was probably the worst idea I've ever had. In May of 2024, Calamity released the highly controversial Bountiful Harvest update, introducing a Master Mode overhaul. Regular enemies are slightly weaker, but in exchange all bosses deal more damage, and a handful of bosses received game-warping AI changes. Bosses like Lunatic Cultist go from easy to a complete run-ender. When this update came out, I was the first to clear it on hardcore difficulty. However, there are problems with that run that still bother me to this day. I used quality of life mods that I didn't really need, I cheesed some of the bosses, and the crate skip just didn't really sit right with me now. The next Calamity update is releasing very soon, and it removes all of the Master Mode changes that make this run as hard as it is. I realized that if I want to get a perfectly clean run, I'd need to do it now, or else I might never be able to. After cutting down trees, I start working on what my town NPCs will call a house. I was a little bit rusty, so I didn't build it that quickly compared to how I usually do it, but it's good enough. This run had a crazy start because I found 2 massive lead ore veins, and I could just simply make a full set of lead armor which provides complete knockback immunity in the Calamity mod. The scariest part of the early game is getting stone-locked by a bunch of enemies, but since I don't have to worry about that anymore, I can just make my trip across the entire world. I explore all the way to the right because my goal is to make it to the Sulphurous Sea. This biome has an enemy called the Trasher. Every time someone calls this thing a Thrasher, I lose more of what brain cells I have left. Please stop. Anyway, these guys have a very, very important mechanic. Wait, hold on, wait, why are we doing a cutaway? Stop. If you haven't freed an angler in your world, you can kill a Trasher to get one. If the Trasher gets a last hit on the angler, it drops a golden fishing rod. We can combine these 2 mechanics to stack 2 Trashers on top of each other, kill one to free the angler, and then the second one can eat the angler for the golden fishing rod. There is no limit on how many golden fishing rods you can actually get. You can make an L shape to force Trashers to fall through blocks. If you make the L shape 1 more taller, they won't go through and they'll just get stuck. We can combine all of this information to make an infinite money farm. Just hand a Trasher a coin so it doesn't despawn, drop it into a house, then just watch as money makes itself. Each golden fishing rod is 20 gold apiece, so just sitting here, you make tons of money really early without even having to do anything. Then you can just let the guy go when you're done. We came to this biome to fish for 2 items, and alluring bait is one of them. It increases our fishing power, increases the chance that we catch potion fish, and increases the amount of potion fish that we actually catch. We don't have quality of life mods to help me out, so we actually have to do a lot of fishing, so this saves us a ton of time throughout the entire run. While I was explaining that, I got my hands on the Abyssal Amulet, which adds 15 DPS to every single weapon thanks to the Riptide debuff. Typically you see people go for the Reaver Shark here, but in this run I really don't think it's very good. So I head straight into the snow biome and try and get myself some life crystals. I went to the snow biome so I could get the Flink's fur coat because I wanted to use a summoner loadout for Desert Scourge. You can see that the Stormjaw staff obliterates this guy. I cut out a bunch of me getting accessories like lightning boots and the yellow horseshoe balloon, as well as fishing for potions and that sort of thing. The main reason why is just because, honestly, this run doesn't have too much to go over. It's very normal, but that will change. After dispatching the really boring base Calamity, this guy doesn't count as a mini-boss. What was I saying? Oh, right, I'm Summoner, so I'm coming down to the Sunken Sea to get the Voltaic Jelly to give me an extra minion. The next boss is the Perforators, which are a little bit further in progression than you're intended to fight them, but I'm really good at this fight, and fighting vanilla bosses in Master Death mode is just not a good idea. Defeating this boss gives so many progression upgrades that it's just worth it. We get a whole set of armor, a whole set of really good weapons, and a pickaxe that's better than the Reaver Shark, which is why I didn't fish for it in the first place. So, I get my last adrenaline, and I kill the last worm, and immediately... Yeah, it's over. Oh. Dude, you're not even kidding. I said it's over as in I won the fight because I killed the last worm, and then a star drops, kills the fucking guy. Dude, it's not real. It's not fucking real. I haven't included all of it, but this run has been insanely blessed. I had that lead armor, I got a bone pickaxe. Oh, bone pickaxe, let's go! That star happened, and my entry to the underground desert looked like this. With Perforators defeated, we can mine aerolite ore. But Primba, your pickaxe is not good enough to mine it. Well, my main goal is to blow up and act like I don't know nobody. With that taken care of, we have a laundry list of things to get. Weapons, armor, and of course, the GOAT bundle of balloons. I had to do a bunch of farming to get feathers to make the armor set, but once I do, I'm pretty much ready. I'm sticking to Summoner for the time being, but I am making rogue weapons. This is now the point where I just kill bosses to get one item, so the Crabulon kill is just to get the rage upgrade. While I still have my potions, I summon Slime God, and then he despawns on me because this boss fucking sucks, holy shit. This fight is kind of a nothing burger. The only thing is that my potions ran out midway, but really other than that, it's really simple. At the end of the day, this boss is literally just 2 biomimics. Slime God drops Purified Gel, which we can use to make Statagel armor, but there is a problem, and that's that we have to kill King Slime in order to be able to make the crafting station to even use it. So King Slime has these vanilla spiked slimes that he summons. He doesn't do that in this version, he just summons the ice and the jungle ones. And he summons these multiple crystals that attack you. This green one, it charges up and dashes, predicting your movement. Why? This is the, first boss you're meant to fight. And then it summons the red guy, but this dude's fire rate is way higher in this mode. Thankfully, it's the least bad one, because you can see when he drops low, he summons the third one, which is a blue crystal that increases his defense and speed and damage, and look how fast this guy's going. My weapon can't even keep up with him. Watch this right here. He's about to, insane blitz super speed crank across the ground. Look at that, dude. That's not normal. That's not acceptable. This guy's on drugs. Jesus fucking Christ. So, the Eye of Cthulhu is faster than the Vanilla Twins. I wish I was making this up. Who made this difficulty again? Oh. That gets a nice lineup, dude.
Don't go on the top, bro! Don't do it! I don't do it! Please don't go on the top, bro! No, I can't take it! I can't take it! Oh!
No fucking way. Listen, the fight was over, but you do not have to do that. You do not have to drop a star. But the vanilla boss bullshit doesn't end here, because Brain of Cthulhu. Phase 1 is just pure projectile spam. I don't even commentate this. Eater of Worlds is completely free, by the way. You just go in a circle, and then you win. Wow. I guess not every vanilla boss is terrible. Well, This guy is still bad, just for a different reason. Yeah. Next up is Queen Bee, who is kind of weird. Like, this boss isn't really hard, but the AI of this thing is just really strange. Like, she does this diagonal dash, and this fight just feels really wrong, I don't know. Once she's below half, she starts doing these, like, stinger, like, wall thingies. And this attack is, like, probably the most difficult, but it's still not that bad compared to, like, Brain of Cthulhu spam. She gets low HP, she gets really fast, and just starts spamming, but it's still really not the worst thing ever. We do this fight just to get the Pygmy necklace, because we need as many summon slots as we can possibly get. The Party Girl is the greatest NPC of all time. I don't care if Pig Granadas are nerfed to no longer give bacon in 1.4.5, she is still the GOAT. She sells pogo stick, what else can I say? And she was bad as hell before they added the portrait, okay? Fuck you, I'm a OG. I'm a OG Party Girl Guna, bro. This bit sucks. I think it's time I tell the truth. If I want to get a perfectly clean run, I'd need to do it now, or else I might never be able to. That's not really true, is it? I can just go back and play an older version of the mod, right? And while that is true, for me, I'm just not willing to downpatch. What's the point in playing and making a video on something that's already been deleted? Here we are. This is the first actual, real hard boss of the run. Last time I did this, I made a perfectly optimized Wall of Flesh arena, but if I don't have quality of life mods, I just can't be bothered doing that. So instead, we're gonna fight Aquatic Scourge pre-hard mode. Very first run was going absolutely perfectly because I followed my plan that I wrote for myself to a T. But the moment that I decide to switch up my plan, things go wrong. When I first beat Deathmaster Hardcore, the Hive Mind was a really easy boss, and I totally forgot that there was an update since that basically turned Hive Mind into a vanilla boss with the amount of bullshit going on. If I just remembered that this fight was actually hard, and I made a proper arena, I probably would have been completely fine. But this guy, his Master Mode AI, is just spamming the spitballs at you. It's just mindless, actual like brain damage level spam. Like, I didn't realize what a precarious situation I was in, so I just kept fighting the boss and I thought, it'll probably be fine. Without buffs, without any warding accessories, I didn't realize how vulnerable I was. Until this hit happened. Then I realized there's nothing I can do, and I'm totally dead. It's safe to say I wasn't really happy with myself for throwing away such a good run and such a great seed, and it didn't get any better when I started attempt 2. Unlike last time, I didn't have the lead armor that I really wanted to speed up the early game, so when I got stuck in the jungle and just died, I didn't feel that bad about it. Attempt 3 was a bit better, and I managed to get myself a Star Fury, but I was just, like, playing so bad, and I just threw it. It was pretty clear that I was really salty, and it was making me play really bad. But what if I try something different? Maybe if I named my character something sweeter, the run would be sweeter too. This is the story of Candycane. I finally had my groove back, and it started by building the dumb money farm, and I thought it would be funny to add a hoik to it. This is the farm in action. I swoop by, pick up the rod, and then come back. I love fishing, 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 I love fishing. After I was done fishing, I went into the underground desert because I just felt really confident, and I managed to find the desert shrine, which was sick. I have no comment on this one. I realized that I don't even need to fight Desert Scourge. That optimal summoner loadout isn't really necessary to get until later, so I just shot the guy. And then I made a huge arena because I was feeling good about this run. I had a ton of open room, so King Slime wasn't too bad. And Slime God was extremely free because I actually had my potion buffs this time. I never noticed it till now, but the feathers that spawn when you take damage with the rogue set actually get boosted by having full stealth. You'll notice that I skipped Eat of Worlds and Queen Bee this time, and that's because of a concept called tactical greeting, okay? This is very important to how I play this game. I'll explain it better after the fight, but for now, just enjoy. I'm gonna give you a bit of a peek behind the veil, I guess. When I have a run that's as hard as this, I like to make what I call a full game sheet. In the past, I relied on my memory, but for this one I actually wrote it down. I made a test character and I ran through a bunch of different loadouts to find what I wanted. Decided my loadout based on what I thought the hardest bosses were. I put it in a tier list format because, waiter, more tier slop please, more tier slop. But the idea is to get as many bosses into the bottom tiers as you can. Like Golem used to be like S plus super tier, but I decided to fight him post Moonlord, so he managed to drop down to a C. It's really about deciding what you want to skip and what you don't want to skip, especially with a challenge as hard as this one. The actual threat list is really important for tactical greeting. Let's take Queen Bee as an example. I do this fight for Pygmy Necklace only. That means I have to spend like 40 minutes or whatever making the arena and being all prepared for that fight, but I use that accessory for one boss, which is Aquatic Scourge, and if I'm confident I can beat it without it, there's really no point. But I would never choose to be greedy on something like Lunatic Cultist, because I think it's the most like threatening boss in the game. Speaking of bosses that I'm kind of tactically greedy on, Wall of Flesh is the next boss. I guess I should say major boss because I do kill Skeletron, but it's not so bad with the overpowered weapons. On this difficulty, you can hand build a perfect arena that allows you to hold down the run button and shoot and just win. But it takes too long to build that, so I chose to be tactically greedy by fighting Aquatic Scourge instead. By killing Aquatic Scourge, I can make a way more simple, normal arena using the Crag for its open space. It means the fight against Wall of Flesh is slightly scarier, but it saves the multiple hours that it would probably take to make a full optimized arena. I want to highlight my build for this fight because it's really weird. I wish I could just do raw DPS with minions, but the deep sea stuff actually doesn't keep up with the Wall of Flesh as he speeds up, so I had to use the Sea's Searing. I went with B armor, I was just raw DPS maxing, and in hindsight, probably not a good idea. and thus Candycane has made his way into hard mode. My immediate priority is to get fairy wings. They're the cheapest wings, they give you extra max HP, and with my aquatic Scourge summons, it's actually super easy to farm basically anything. Deep sea stuff absolutely shreds worm type enemies, like the wyvern just died, and I did the same thing to the second one, and I'm already good to go on the fairy wings. To the underground hallow for souls of light and crystal shards because I need crystal shards to make my next weapon, but I ran into a spider biome and I already had summoner stuff, so I'm like, okay, might as well make a full set of spider armor. And I still ended up making the Axe of Purity and a nice pair of fairy boots. In case you didn't know, compared to vanilla where they suck, Calamity makes them overpowered. They're faster than lightning or terra spark boots, and they give you 10 defense, extra regen, and even more movement speed than lightning or terra spark does. It's dumb, I think. They're made hard mode only in Calamity, but there was a point in time where you could actually get this pre-boss, which is insane. I also make the giant tortoise shell, which is a knockback immunity accessory kind of like the Ankh shield, except instead of having debuff immunity, you have more defense. I also make the Brain of Confusion into the amalgamated brain, which is the same thing but better. Calamity made dodges really, really good. Vanilla dodges are luck-based, the Black Belt has a 10% chance of dodging attacks, while the Brain of Confusion has a 1 in 6 chance. Calamity is like, nah, we're just gonna make it guaranteed, but there is a cooldown after. Well, that's how it used to work. Dodges activate if the attack does more than 5% of your HP. That way you can save your dodge for actual big hits, and the cooldown of the dodge depends on how much damage the attack would have done to you. But let's talk about Amalgamated Brain in particular. It's one of only 2 dodges that gives a universal damage boost, the other dodge being the upgrade to this that is post-Devour of Gods, by the way, and even if you're rogue you can still use it, and then just swap it out. I'm glazing, but it is really that good. I needed to mine for palladium to get the melee set. I kill the clam, I make a ram, and then I scour the jungle for life root and trapper bulbs to make photosynthesis potions. I drop 1 into the shimmer and then eat 20 of them to increase my max life. Then I bought the destroyer. My recording broke so I have no in-game audio, but this fight is just like, kind of just run away simulator, and make sure you don't get hit by the head. As long as you don't like touch the body or the head too much, you're fine. I mined up Mithril because I'm gonna switch to a, honestly, in hindsight, pretty bad loadout. The idea is use Mega Shock with Mithril Armor and Abaddon to like spam extra projectiles, and it gets a 3-minute kill against Skeletron Prime here. Like, it's nothing fantastic. Speaking of Skeletron Prime, while I was planning the run, they removed his Master Mode AI that made him like Satan, so he's actually just really easy now. Then I fought Cryogen, who actually died pretty quickly. I mined, and then I mined again. All of that just to make an upgraded Ram Dash. I expanded my arena as much as I could. The hardest boss fight yet is the twins. When Spasmatism drops, the fight is basically over. My heart was going crazy when I was fighting this, because the red lasers give you a fire debuff, and I didn't bring obsidian skin potions. I feel like looking at this fight actually looks easier than it is, but I promise if you're doing it in a hardcore run, it's like 10 times more stressful. Then after that I whooped Calclone because she's like way easier. It's not even funny. Like the difficulty balance between this and like the vanilla bosses that get buffed by Master Mode, it's ridiculous. With the mechs defeated, the first thing I do is grab some more life root and then upgrade my max HP. With the twins and Calclone defeated, I can make the Rainbow Rod and upgrade it into the Odd Attack. This weapon draws a shape, and everything in that shape takes damage. The longer you take to draw it, the more damage it does. This demonstration against Wall of Flesh kind of isn't good because I don't have any mage gear, but that's being fixed right now. With the second emblem and the hallowed armor that I have right there as well, I'm pretty much good to go. I then spent 2 actual human real-life hours doing basically nothing exploring the jungle. But I eventually did decide to stop stalling and actually do it. You thought I was fighting Plantera? No. This is Astrodeus. Well... here we are. Okay. Okay. Oh my god. It's free. It's so free. Nice. Give me that. Alright, there's an item I really need. I really need Star Shower to drop. Oh my god. Is this guy just aura farming, or is there a real reason why he fought that boss? And the answer is yes. To both. After Deus, Astral Slimes start dropping the ore. Throw that in the Shimmer, and suddenly we have Scoria. And that means new pickaxe, which means we can mine all of the Astral Meteor. We can't do much with what we have until we kill Plantera, so guess who's next? I made an artificial dungeon to farm safely. Was it kind of bad? Yes. Did it work? Kinda. Whatever. I upgraded to Asgard's Valor, which is my Ankh Shield plus Ram Dash. I've made the Void of Extinction, which is kind of mid. I don't like it anymore, but I used to like it. And I upgraded to the Spectre set, which has Monster DPS. and I irresponsibly spent my status fragments in order to get drippy as fuck. I went into the abyss and killed an idolist. Right as it died, I rage baited the fucking squid that kills you, so I had to run away. I went over my reforges one more time before full sending Lunatic Cultist. Boom. Fucking melted. Holy shit. I played it completely perfectly. Yep. Get fucked. Get fucked. Holy shit, I'm the GOAT. Oh my god. Okay, I want to make ambrosial ampule. Did I get you? Ooh, that Cultist fucking turned, bro. I saw that shit. Loki, I kinda wanna leave that solo one alive. Because it's the closest to my arena. It's like the least intrusive. Yeah, you know what? I'm leaving that one alive. I can make Astral Lava. Bang. 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 So, fun fact, I got killed by a flow invader once. Way back in the old days when I first beat the game on hardcore. So I have like a insane fear of these things. Like whenever I see one, I have to get rid of it. If I see one, it's dying first. Oh. Le. I forgot to fight this guy before Cultist, by the way. So, that's why I'm fighting the secret evil pillar, rock pillar. Calamity. Boom. And adrenaline upgrade. Boom. Kinda just want to send it for Moonlord, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, fuck, I did not think about that. Yo, that was insanely dumb. Holy shit, my IQ is low. Okay. The pillar is in one-shot range. I literally can't do anything else but wait. Boy, am I thankful, because Moonlord does not have Master Mode bullshit AI. I can still die, but if I die, it's really embarrassing. So my pride is really the thing that's on the line here. Just die? Okay. Right. Screenshot for the boys. Wow. It's kind of scary that attempt 4 is going this good. The plan is to switch to Summoner for the rest of the run, but I'm using melee gear to actually get the stuff that I need. Stellar Contempt is a really good weapon for this. I'm already out of Luminite, so I have to get a bunch more. A full solar set with solar wings, not bad. The extra fragments from Astrum Deus actually are really handy because it means I don't run out. Golem is the first boss that needs to go. This guy I didn't do earlier because he's overbuffed to hell. The only real reason I'm fighting this guy is because I need it for Plaguebringer Goliath, so I'd rather do him off tier like this instead of cheesing him. With Golem down, I can farm in the jungle to get all the Plague Cell canisters that I need. I ended up getting more than I actually needed to, but it's fine. Tactical Plague Engine is the weapon that I'm going for. It has the highest raw DPS, and I'm making a raw DPS loadout because I'm playing Summoner. And the Pumpkin Moon provides a stackable damage accessory. It's funny how this run is completely different from my last time. Last run I cheesed Golem and then relied completely on Plaguebringer Goliath weapons, but this time I'm only doing it post Moonlord. The first bag didn't drop the fuel cell bundle, so I have to do it a second time, but thankfully it goes pretty damn smooth, and the second bag does end up dropping it. So I put all of my pieces together, Stardust armor, Stardust wings, tactical plague engine, and my loadout is looking pretty solid. I gave Empress an off-screen slap and pulled the kaleidoscope out of the bag. The reason why I use Summoner in the late game is because Calamity makes it really dumb. The tooltips lie to you. When it says 20 tag damage, it's just wrong. People often say that Calamity nerfs whip stacking or Calamity removes it, but no, it's actually just buffed. Like, instead of being a flat number, it is a multiplier. So the higher damage your minions do, the more damage it does. And stacking whips adds the multipliers together. So for the rest of the run, I'll be using Kaleidoscope and Morningstar together, which results in a 1.23 times damage boost. And the fun part is that Tag Crit also does stack. They don't add together, they work a little bit differently, but 20.8% crit chance is very good. I can pair these two whips with the Eye of Magnus, which fires beams that cut enemy damage reduction in half. Providence, for example, has a cocoon attack where she triples her damage reduction, going to 90%. In theory, all of your attacks would just bounce off, but with the Eye of Magnus, you can bring that down to 45%, and you're still doing some, like, serious damage with that. But I can just show you how much damage this does. Give me a nice little buff up right here. Spawn my guys. Okay. Okay, nice and simple. Okay. Boom. And the fun part is that we can carry these buffs over to Providence fight, because there's no upgrades in between. Wait, I summoned the wrong guy. Okay. Potentially lethal misclick in some cases, but not this case. I did not realize how busted Eye of Magnus was. Because in my testing world, my kill times were not even close to this good. Holy shit. 2 bosses and 1 set of buffs in post moon mode is crazy. Alright. Bag. We got Dazzlers, baby. Let's go. So, Divine Geodes, PSA, Elderberry, that's it really. There aren't too many post-Providence upgrades. The Profane Soul artifact is extremely broken, so I do craft that. Then I'm off to the mines getting Eula Bloom ore to make all of my upgrades. The main one is of course the permanent max HP upgrade. Then I make a Hell Arena because I need to fight Providence a second time in order to get the Ram Dash. With the Dazzling Stabber Staff that I got from the other Providence, killing it a second time is way easier. Look at that HP bar actually drop. After I kill the boss, and then reforge my new accessory, I go back down to fight Cygnus. This is not a hard fight by any means, but for some reason his damage is actually ridiculous. Like, if I touch this guy, I take 600 damage, which is ridiculous. But it isn't a problem if you don't get hit. Cygnus drops us a material that we can make the Tenryu with, which is a very powerful weapon. Oh, I got the Dark Shard instantly, okay. Sadly for me, I did not have the shards, but if I can get the Dark Shard pretty quick, surely the Light Shard won't take very long either. Light Shard instantly, okay. I love when that happens actually, I'm a big fan. Tenryu, boom. The next boss I'm choosing to do is Stormweaver, because I have a big decision to make. I'm choosing to skip Poltergeist and go straight to Devour of Gods, and there's two weapons for me to pick. If I want high risk, high reward, I have to go with the Stellar Taurus Staff, while if I want consistent output, I want Virid Vanguard. And we got it first pull. Oh my god, bro. The luck has decided to just give me everything now. Okay, cool. Forest Staff, yes, so... Alright. Nice. I've shown 4 out of the 5 key progression bosses. Aquatic Scourge, who's pretty difficult, but really not that bad. The twins who punish you significantly if you go out of rhythm. Astrum Deus, who isn't really too hard, but is very, very chokeable. This is kind of a theme with a lot of these bosses. Lunatic Cultist, who is an unskippable menace. His only weakness is that he has low HP, so you have to kill him before he kills you. The final progression gate is the Devourer of Gods. Every single one of this boss's attacks does too much damage for me to try and live them. I have no choice but to Glass Cannon. Because this fight is so late in the game and each hit is so deadly, this boss makes you nervous. Throughout every hardcore run I've ever done, I've never died to Devourer of Gods, and I do not want that to change today. Oh my god, why am I so nervous? Okay. Cancel everything I can. It's okay. Buff up. Summon you. Spam you. One, two, three. Problem is, I literally just get straight up one shot. If the boss hits me, I'm dead. Get away from me. I guess there is a first time for everything. After this death, losing 19 hours, I started another run. To keep me going, I told myself one thing. It'll be a good story for the video. I had a pretty bad looking seed, so I just forced into the jungle and got surprisingly geared up. I found a bunch of life crystals, a boomstick, and an anklet of the wind before ending up having to leave with 240 HP. I had this idea that I had to die to Devour of Gods for the grand story, so this run I would be able to win. So I started building an actual base, which I have not done in a very long time. I believed in the narrative. I believed in the story that I would win. And it started with Aquatic Scourge. I believed so much that I built an entire hall just for my relics, okay? I really did think that I would be able to fill this entire room. After that, each and every boss fell one by one. It was just like it was written. Until this happened. You know what, bro? This run fucking sucks. Just kill me. Yep. Thanks. Cool. I wish I could just make a story in my head and have it just be true, but we don't live in that world. Attempt 10. I'm trying to farm Crimson Mimics to get Flesh Knuckles to make into a putrid scent so I can turn it into an arcane flower. I kill 5 of them and get 4 dart pistols and 1 tendon hook. Now that I've run out of Souls of Night, I have no choice but to get some more. And that's when the most unlucky clip I think I've ever got ever happens. Bro. Dude. Double stone? What kind of luck is that, bro? And it did just enough damage to kill me. It did exactly the damage to kill me. Oh my fucking god. Are you real, bro? There's the bubble vibe's here. I go over here. Immediate fucking spawn over here. Insta freeze. Insta double freeze. Fucking Runa Wizard does exactly enough damage to kill me. Like you can't make this shit up. Like it's actually like Fucking proof, bro. Holy shit. Imagine losing 11 hours of your life just like that, dude. It's honestly too crazy for me to even be mad about. After that loss, I thought, well, I'm sure it'll all be alright. Okay, but maybe the next one is the run. Okay, but maybe the next one is the run. This is Oops, and he's about to go on a mission. A mission to die to Devourer of Gods a second time. Oops. When this happened, I was distraught. Right before I went into that fight, I had this feeling in my stomach, like I felt it. And I was like, I knew something was wrong. But I didn't listen to that part of me. If I listened, maybe this wouldn't have happened. A second feeling also overwhelmed me, and it's something that I wasn't familiar with. When a Terraria character dies in hardcore, it's actually sent to your recycle bin, and if you wanted to, you can just take it out. And what that feeling was telling me to do would go ignored. When I died to Devourer of Gods, I was low-key pissed. So I took all of my frustration and started a new run basically instantly. I did not care about playing optimally or safely. I just wanted to get back to where I was as fast as possible. After almost dying, I make my way to the right and find a cave. It led right into a house, which managed to secure me a cloud in a bottle. My early runs were methodical and paced, but this one I'm just diving into a cave, and if I don't come out, then I reset and go again. Luckily for me, I got the 50-50 and my world does have lead in it. And after a bit of mining, I did end up with the full set. And with my silver bars, I made a Feller of Evergreens. This axe is surprisingly good for self-defense. It minces up these slimes that are protecting a bat drop that I got, which is an even better self-defense weapon. With good defense, good offense, and good mobility, getting life crystals is not really a problem. I'm deep enough in the world that I can start making a lava charm, which is for a very specific purpose. I mine up obsidian for later, but instead of crafting it myself, I just pull it out of a chest. While mining rubies, I got rudely interrupted, so I used my squirrel to perma-stun lock the guy so I could go back to mining in peace. And then of course I dealt with him. And then I stole his hat for the rest of the run. With my leftover rubies, I get myself all the way to 400 HP. When I realized the path that I traveled, I had a really dumb idea. I had a feeling that the Brimstone Crag was on my left. If I could set up a pylon there on my first mining trip, there might be some funny things that I can do. Not only that, but also, it saves me a ton of time later. First, I grab myself a Hellforge, because I'm gonna need it. Then I make my way through hell, finding a lucky coin portal, which was pretty nice, honestly. And eventually the lava changes color, telling me I am indeed in the Brimstone Crag. A few houses later, I'm already getting mauled while I wait for an NPC to save me. I don't know how, but he just appeared. The other guy didn't spawn, so I decided to make the journey across the biome. And this is where I picked up one of my least favorite weapons in the game, the Bladecrest Oath Sword. It's just not a very fun weapon to use in my opinion. That's kind of a hot take though, but I'll explain. It's a full homing weapon that you can just run and grab out of a chest. And the damage it does is quite high. And this is more of a personal thing, but the people who love this weapon got so mad when it got a small damage nerf, and even now I think it's way too strong for how easy it is to get. Jumping in the edit real quick because this thing got reworked and I'm chill with it now. The weapon is definitely stronger, but the problem was always that it was just too easy to get for how good it was. After a bunch more farming, I finally get what I want. Oh, Slurper Pole obtained, okay. Hold up. Dragoon Drizzlefish angle. Evil presence is watching me? Oh, bruh. As long as it's nighttime, I can't return to the surface. So I guess I actually am going for the Dragoon Drizzlefish. This little guy can be fished up in the Brimstone Crag, and it's really good for Perforators, which is the first boss that I fight. The main issue with it is that it's kind of out of the way to go and get, but everything just aligned perfectly this time, I guess. Okay, that's the second slag crate I've opened where I got literally nothing, and I got the Dragoon. Yes! Yes! My goat, okay. Now I can move on with my life, so I break a Crimson Heart, trash a stack for the final time.
I won't forget you, buddy.
And after fishing a bunch, I get the Alluring Bait, okay, and the Abyssal Amulet that I really needed. Okay. The next day, I got hit with a Goblin army. Good thing I had lava buckets on hand ready to go. Not much to comment on here because old reliable still works as always. Pop into the desert now to get a few things. The Magic Conch. I also managed to find the Luxor's Gift Shrine. I don't always go for this, but it does make Wall of Flesh way easier. I'll explain that later, because that might not make sense. And after a bunch more exploring, I finally got my chisel. With my mining upgrades, I head down for Shimmer. On my way there though, I run into the Goblin, which is really handy. And when I see that tunnel light up, I know that I've found it. I also run into the Skeleton Merchant, who allows me to do the milkshake method. In this version of the mod, you can buy milk from the Skeleton Merchant, and then use an ice machine and turn it into milkshakes, which are a tier 3 food buff. It has a shorter duration than bacon from the Party Girl, but it is way cheaper. The jungle's connected to my Shimmer, so I take a quick look around. The only thing I run into though is an Anklet of the Wind, which is not bad by any means. Finally, I'm running out of things to do before I have to fight a boss. I find a Star Fury, and a shiny red balloon, and I finally buy the stuff from the Goblin Tinkerer. I was gonna do it before, but he was homeless, so he didn't give me good prices. The extra time I spent in the desert let me get a Sandstorm in a bottle, so that's pretty nice. And I can easily build it into a yellow horseshoe balloon. Lightning boots, and I can grab the overpowered drill mount and life force potions at the same time. I get hit with a slime rain, so guess I'm doing King Slime first. This is where the lava charm comes into play. Magma Stone is really good against King Slime. Fire debuffs are extra effective against King Slime, and by combining the Magma Stone and Bladecrest Oathsword, I'm inflicting both On Fire and Hellfire at the same time. And it actually dissolves the boss. He gets harder to hit as he speeds up, but in the end, it doesn't even matter because he's already dead. While my buff potions are still running, I decide to double dip and take on the Perforators. This is who I was meant to fight anyway. The idea is to abuse gravity by sitting still and aiming directly upwards to get double damage. It's also important to note that my weapon inflicts 2 different fire debuffs, and Perforator is weak to them also. Like, fire debuff is just really good in the early game. My weapon is really good against worms, so I just kind of focus down the boss because I know if I need to kill the worm, it's not a big deal. Also, this little sequence here is only possible thanks to Featherfall Potion. With perfs, I mine up my area light using bombs, bought up a bunch of gender change potions from the party girl and dropped them in the shibber to get myself a boatload of potion ingredients. This time I wanted to try something a little different, so I put together the Aerospec Ranger set and decided to use the Dragoon Drizzlefish on Slime God. It was kinda mid. That's a lie, it was actually quite terrible, and it took me over 3 minutes, but eventually I did kill it. I suppose that's what happens when you use a post-evil boss weapon on a post-Skeletron boss, but at least Desert Scourge doesn't take nearly as much effort. But lesson learned, we're going back to the rogue class. I went down to the Sunken Sea to get the schematic for the tracking disc, but while I'm here, I put a clam out of its misery. Brain of Cthulhu hasn't got his glow up yet, but I tech in the Crimson Flask for this. The Crimson Flask gives you 4% increased damage reduction and 6 defense while you're in the Crimson biome. On top of that, it gives you immunity to Burning Blood, which is the debuff that the red projectiles inflict when they hit you. What a terrible boss. I mean, I have to do it if I want the Scab Ripper. Speaking of, we start assembling the summoner loadout now, like getting the Voltaic Jelly, making it into the Jelly Charged Battery, and fishing in the jungle for summoning potions. Speaking of fishing, I put together an artificial corruption biome to get Wrath potions. But now, it's time for Aquatic Scourge. I reforge everything to Menacing, put on the Summoner Helmet, and begin. I chose Scab Rippers because they create these blood rains that pierce through all of the segments, dealing a ton of damage. I'm choosing to support with Aestheticus because it just does a damage over time debuff, and whipping is just too dangerous. It took me 4 acid rains, by the way, but I ended up getting everything that I needed. I also grabbed the extra sentry from the Old One's army. So, why is Luxor's gift so good for Wall of Flesh? Luxor scales with the weapon it's used with, so that means that my post-Aquatic Scourge weapons get scaled quite hard. You can look at my Luxor's minion right now, doing a ton of damage. The Luxor minion is especially good because it doesn't get affected by the summon penalty. Oh my god. That ending was dicey. Look at my loadout, by the way. With my newfound Demon Heart and Rogue Emblem, I decide to kill Skeletron. I've been flip-flopping between doing this guy before or after Wall of Flesh in like every run. I don't think it really matters that much. The main reason I fight this guy is because I want an alchemy table, And I don't really want to farm random mobs until I get like a mechanical skull or something. I'm good, man. I'm down there, I run into the wrong NPC, I get the bewitching table. I didn't find a second one, so I just ended up shimmering this, but I grab a cobalt shield and get out. I make more NPC houses, and the first day, of course I get pirates. And some farming later. I love invasions, dude. But I do get the lucky coin drop from the Flying Dutchman, which is a really nice discount card. This item will be important later. I still see Medusa in my dreams sometimes. I buy 7 gold dust and make myself a Spelunker amulet. This gives 10% mining speed and permanent Spelunker. It's really handy because I tend to forget, oh, I forget to grab Spelunker sometimes. I killed the 2 evil bosses a second time because I need to get both the Amalgamated Brain and the Bloody Worm Scarf. But to make those, I gotta punch out altars with my hammer and get Souls of Night. I thought it would be funny to pump some shimmer to my base, so I built a pump. While I was dragging the wire, my mouse unclicked, but when I did it the other way, it did work out. This is genuine advice. If you're having fun, the run will go better. I built my Hallow farming platform. A flat line of Pearlstone is enough, but I add more Hallow so it's officially a Hallow biome, and 2 houses because I'm gonna use this to farm Prismatic Lacewings later. Vacuum cleaner sound effect. It was raining, so I decided to go for the Storm Saber. This weapon is like really nostalgic for me since it carried the last run, so I'm actually really happy to use it again. And I actually get it. Very nice. I think early hard mode is the least fun, least interesting, most grindy part of the game, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you a bit of a lightning round here. I did all of that mining to make a full set of Palladium armor. I make the Bloody Worm Scarf, which is low-key overpowered. It gives you 7 defense, 10% damage reduction, and 10% melee damage. I make Fairy Wings as a temporary set for the extra max HP. Angel Wings are slightly better overall, but I don't have any Souls of Light. Kill the Clam to make Deep Diver. Mine a bunch of Crystal Shards and farm Souls of Light. Kill the Crab for a Rage upgrade. Make an Axe of Purity. Make the Fairy Boots. Fish for Sunken Sailfish to make Soaring Potions. Very scuffed absolute dogshit Mimic farm, but it does get me a Philosopher's Stone. I make the Ankh Shield for a later date. Deep Diver. Life Fruit, baby. The Destroyer was kind of scary until I realized that if I just stack enough defense, the probe lasers do 1 damage, which means I get to save my dodge for the actual big hits. So despite my unreforged Axe of Purity, I should be alright. The plan is to immediately kill Skeletron Prime after this, so I use my Submarine Shocker to kill the boss faster. Skeletron Prime's first phase is pretty easily avoided by moving in this like U shape, like back and forth. Phase 2 I'm pretty confident that I win, so I just go for stabs. And after doing the same thing over and over again, I secure the second mech. Kill a bee from viewing station. Adamantite, adamantite, forge. Pickaxe, because we need that for Cryonic Ore. Speaking of Cryonic Ore, kill Cryogen. Drill mount is balanced, by the way. We did all of that just for a Ram Dash. I also made the Flare Frost Blade, which is like low-key mid, but it is better than Storm Saber for twins. 1 solar eclipse, please. Thank you. Moonstone acquired. Bat Hook is the 3rd best hook in the game. Alright, we've had a fun now, so let's get back to business. This is not the loadout I'd suggest when you fight the twins. I just got lazy and didn't want to get my actual mage set up. The idea is just something completely defensive. I don't have fire immunity, so I make sure to use obsidian skin. We're in for a long one. Watch me destroy my muscle memory by letting Featherfall run out right here. That fight ended up being 6 minutes and 13 seconds long, by the way. For some reason, I just didn't consider that using this tanky loadout would make the fight take so much longer. Replace fairy boots with angel treads. I make the hallowed headgear, but for the body and legs I use the mollusk set instead. The reason I do this is because when Astraveler goes into phase 2, the hallow dodge buff runs out. And I nearly died to Calclone, so if I don't make the art attack, I'm kinda silly. The Astraveler build is focusing on movement and damage. The last preparation I need to do is the arena, and max out my mana. That fight didn't really go too well, but I recovered it perfectly. And as my reward, I get the perfect treasure bag. Nice. Perfect bag. I mentioned before that Star Shower is needed, but getting the minion on top of that is really good. I have to increase the tank size because Calamity items are just too big. The Astrodeus skip isn't really too useful without ectoplasm, so I do carve out the Plantera arena. I probably should have eaten this before Astrodeus, but whatever. Since the Hallowed armor is way more reliable in this boss fight, I will actually put it on. Star Shower can carry me on damage, so I can go back to warding. Back to the Astral Infection, I start getting Astral Slimes, hammer the Astral Ore into Scoria, and make a pickaxe. The Astral Aureus fight was very boring and very easy, but who's complaining about an adrenaline upgrade? With Plantera down, I can make Honeydew and Living Dew, turn some Scoria into Perennial, use that to make Life Alloy and Miracle Fruit. Instead of making a dungeon farm, I just raw dog the actual dungeon, making sure I'm not on a straight line where a sniper can shoot me. I ended up spending a whole half hour in the dungeon because I just had terrible luck with paladins trying to get the paladin's hammer for later. I switch over to the DPS Goat Spectre armor. There was also another reason why I killed Plantera. Allow me to wind back the tape a little bit. So, one guy commented on the video saying that it was cheating for me to use the Hoik to go into the temple. To this day, I still do not understand the reason why this is considered cheating. So, I went out of my way to kill Plantera and get the temple key just for that one guy. Just so that one guy would be like, I'm proud of you, son, or whatever the fuck, okay? I got one guide so hard that I'm still thinking about it. And so, just for this one dude, I'm gonna do it. I'll let that guy have his way, okay? And I'll enter the temple just like how it was meant to. Okay. Alright, ready? There we go. I hope you're happy. Here we are at the temple. I'm not gonna repeat the charade, is what I would say if I lied. There you go. Ah, Ravager, what a boss, man. I remember the good old days when this guy was actually, like, really important for progression, but, completely different route this time, so he's kind of just fodder that's only here for a rage upgrade. Since we only fight Golem later, we have to go down and get the Eidolon tablet, and lucky me because the first Idolist I run into drops the tablet. For Cultist, I switched to the Hadal Mantle, which has slightly faster horizontal speed but doesn't have a damage boost. And the best part, I actually get the Flesh Knuckles from the Crimson Mimic. That becomes a Putrid Scent, and that becomes an Arcane Flower. Wall of Flesh, I'ma need a second Sorcerer emblem, buddy. And this is the final loadout I'm rocking for Lunatic Cultist. Okay, I'm leaving it there for tonight. Alright. Overall, I would call that a successful session. I don't recommend staying up that late, but I was tilted. I left myself one pillar alive just so I could prepare as much as I needed to for Moonlord. I also farmed up the Starbuster core as well as a Hive pod because I was already there. I came over to the Nebula pillar and slapped down 2 Hive pods underneath it. After chipping away the Nebula pillar's shield, I go home and just wait while my sentries kill the actual pillar. Moonlord is one of the few bosses that didn't get Master Mode AI changes, so he actually really isn't that hard at all. And the Calamity version of Moonlord is like kind of easier than vanilla Moonlord in some ways. I went to pick up the leftover Nebula fragments, crafted myself a full set of Solar Flare armor, a Fire Gauntlet, and a Stellar Contempt. This is the part you should be familiar with. This is when we go back and kill Golem, Empress, Plaguebringer just to get our summoner loadout. This was a very standard Golem for me, except for the fact that I had discount card on and I only realized that when I was reforging after the fight. Next up is Plaguebringer Goliath, and I start by making an arena which I'll probably be using later for Dragon Volley. After a bit of farming, it takes me 2 kills to get the fuel cell bundle. Then it's a bit of Pumpkin Moon farming to get my 2 scrolls that I need. I finally use the NPC houses that I made and start farming Lace Wings. After getting the Terra Prisma, it was pretty easy to get the other 2 pieces that I needed. I don't remember when I got the Morning Star, but I guess I got it during the 30 minutes of dungeon farming I did. I had to wait for the guide to respawn way too many times, but I did get the Black Hawk remote, and thus the Tactical Plague Engine. I also make Flowers of Mortality, Status Blessing, and Star Tainted Generator, kill a Goblin for the first Shadow Flame to turn the Blessing into a Curse, and finally a full set of Stardust Armor with the Wings. The Tactical Plague Engine uses bullets from your inventory, so I'm using Dryad's Tears. Hyperius bullets are slightly better against bosses like Providence who are huge, but I forgot, so... Anyway, I killed Moonlord for a Rainbow Portal Staff and melted the absolute hell out of Dragon Volley just for a rage upgrade. After making a Hell Arena and expanding my surface one, it was time. Okay. Weirdly enough for me, this one mushroom biome had enough Eula Bloom for the rest of the run. I craft the Profaned Soul artifact, the penultimate max HP upgrade, and Virid Vanguard. I need a light shard for Tenryu, so I farm for it. And immediately dart for Cygnus. I made the same mistake as I did with Golem, leaving the discount card equipped for no reason. Surely this is the final time that this happens. You have basically no choice except to run a full DPS loadout for this boss fight. As such, I have disregarded all forms of survivability in exchange for raw damage. In case of absolute disaster, the only bailout I have is the Amalgamated Brain Dodge. You can only imagine how nervous I was going into this. I did not want to lose another 15 hours or whatever just to get back here, not even guaranteeing that I'll win. But right here is the greatest Devourer of Gods I've ever played. My nerves are so shot. Let's fucking go, dude. Yes, dude. Oh my god. Yes, man. Dude, I'm so fucking relieved. Oh my god, I had the screenshot sent to the lads. Oh my god, bro. Yes, bro. Oh, I'm like shaking, man. I can't, bro. My hands, bro. They're literally they're literally tingling, bro. I'm actually tingling. Ugh, bro, why is it so much more stressful than it's ever been before? The biggest weight I've ever felt on my shoulders is finally gone. I'm so afraid of dying now that I'm gonna switch to melee until I can get my better armor. The events aren't even very scary. I'm just watching my HP bar, making sure it's all good, but there really isn't too much to worry about. I started with the Solar Eclipse because I wanted to get the Dark Sun Ring. It gives you good stats and it gives you 2 summon slots, which I'm gonna need when I switch back to Summoner. Speaking of Summoner, I can make the Mirror of Calandra, which is a very powerful summon that doesn't require me to finish all of these events, so I make it right now. To craft it, you need to be standing near a pool of Shimmer, so good thing I made this tank, huh? I have to take on the Frost and Pumpkin Moon now, which don't really give me anything. Unless I combine it with Necroplasm, which I have to farm for, because I spent all of mine on a Cosmic Worm. I start with one of the greatest defensive accessories in the mod. I am of course talking about the Sponge. The shield bubble that it makes is 180 HP, but in the latest update they nerfed it down to 120, so I am using the strongest version of it, but even with that nerf, which is a 33% nerf, it's still goated. I make the Nucleogenesis, which is the endgame summoner accessory, Silver Wings, which are the best pre-Yaron wings in the game, and I didn't have enough feathers to make a full set of silver armor, so I am gonna have to farm for some more later. I upgrade my Elysian Aegis into the Asgardian Aegis, make my Pole Warper minion, and finally I take off my Amalgamated Brain to upgrade it and put it right back on. I swap out my silver helmet for the boots, kill the Dragon Folly again, and make another helmet. I didn't need to do that because I probably wasn't gonna die to Dragon Folly, but I'm pretty much ready for Yaron at this point, but I want to get my Auric armor pretty much ready to go before I kill Yaron. So to get a Blood Flare set and Tarragon set, I'm gonna have to revisit a few bosses that I either skipped or just need to do again. With the crazy power spike you get post Devour of Gods, Poltergust doesn't take very long to die. And it's a similar story for Ravager, who I have to take out twice, and Providence. I carve out my flat platform for Yaron. And without further ado, here is the most disappointingly easy boss in the entire run. You just run away. That's basically this entire fight. Like, bro. Like, this shit's not real, bro. GG's. Are we real, bro? This fight's so fucking easy. From dog to that, bro. I'm so glad I'm not reliant on a Yaron drop. First thing I do is reforge a Wings of Rebirth, which are the best wings in the game. And then, it's back to the mines one last time. Imagine if I died to the Auric fucking pulse, bro. Loki, I don't know how much I actually need. I always find myself getting way too little. So I'm gonna get like 1,000, I think. Bro. Boom. 800 HP with Life Force. Or a Tesla Space Helmet. Body armor. Queeses. I don't know how you pronounce that actually. Radiance, I need to go check for the lilies. Please tell me they fucking generate, bro. They probably fucking didn't though, let's be honest. Okay. Weird, okay. The Ambrosial Ample that I've pretty much almost always had equipped since I killed Lunatic Cultist is finally being upgraded into the Radiance. I just have to farm out King Slime and kill Astrum Aureus again. To get Lilies of Finality to grow, I need to have a Brimstone block with a background wall that's natural. So I'll swap out these platforms for blocks and then go set up Exomex and then come back. Okay. Was that done? Oh! They grew. And this is the final reforge before Exomex. The Exos loadout is something more of my style. It's a mix of defense and offense. But it might not look like it in the actual fight because Summoner just does too much damage. This wasn't Devour of Gods level of nerves, but certainly higher than Yaron was. Yeah, bro. Holy shit. That was a crazy kill. I fucking destroyed everything. The loadout for Skell is the exact same as Exo's, except we slap on Drayden's heart. Going into this fight, I was really nervous for no reason. This right here is the final hurdle. It is now or never. Oh my god, bro. I'm gonna beat this shit without popping my silver. Like, I've been stressing like I haven't had a revive this whole time. Let's fucking go, dude! Oh my god, dude, I haven't felt this fucking good. Oh. Yes, man. Oh, fuck. Oh, it's over. I knew I would fucking do it. I said this was the run. It was the run. Fuck you. Fuck all the doubters. I'm the GOAT. Okay. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. That's really all I have to say. Thank you all. See you all hopefully sometime sooner than later.